Okay, so we've decided to keep going with our 13s for 1300 project just that little bit longer, right? We've got $151 left in the budget and a few things to fix, and I think we can get this car into the 12s without going over that $1,300 budget. Alright, so one of the things we discovered at the drag strip was that it wasn't getting a clean shot of gas off the line. I'm not really sure why, but a purge system will fix that, okay? You might have noticed it was popping a little bit as it was launching off the start line. And that means it's not getting a clean shot of gas, okay? So installing a nitrous purge system will definitely fix that. And you've probably seen them at drag strips all around the world and all over YouTube. You'll see cars purging their nitrous systems just before they launch, okay? And that's why they do it. Well, some of them do it for show, but you know, mostly it has a practical value, okay? So as usual, hit up eBay. We had this kit turn up from the States the other day for $60, all right? So that gives us $90 left in our budget. And we'll fit this to the old girl and see if that fixes our problem. All right, so what did we get in our little box of goodies? Okay, instructions, it's always a good start. Some line to vent the gas off, okay? Rather than metal line, they've given me some hard plastic line. It's flexible, it'll be able to go as far as I need it to go. All right, a little button so I can purge the gas. Some cable ties. And the nitrous solenoid, okay, and the fittings to suit, all right? So we'll get that in the car and we'll see how it works. Okay, so this is how it works. Here's our nitrous solenoid and there's the line running up to it. Now, we want good clean liquid nitrous running all the way up through the system. Trouble is when it sits in the line for a while, it's got a very low boiling point and it turns to gas very quickly. Gas is no good, we want good clean liquid nitrous. So what we do is we insert our purge solenoid into the line, and that will allow us to vent the gaseous nitrous out of the line and make sure we get a good clean shot of liquid nitrous right up to the fogger when we launch. Alright, so first up we'll start with this fitting. Now that'll attach our purge solenoid to the system. Now the purge solenoid attaches there, this one's just a block off plug. So what we'll have to do is seal off the block off plug, make sure that's in properly, and we showed you how to do the Teflon tape last time, so we don't really need to show you again, but yeah, I'll use the Teflon tape. But yeah, make sure that I don't have any little bits poking through into this, because otherwise we'll stuff up our solenoids. Okay, and there's our fitting all done. Alright, it's tightened up, there's Teflon tape around there, but you can see there's no bits hanging around inside the fitting at all, okay? Nice and clean. Let's keep going. Okay, so there we are so far. There's our purge solenoid, the fitting running into the T-piece. This T-piece will go in the line, alright? So the nitrous line will go in this side, and this side will connect to the nitrous solenoid. So this will allow the purge solenoid to vent our gaseous nitrous through this hole here, but we'll run another fitting off this to a line, and the line will exit the engine bay. So there's our last fitting, all attached. Now you've got to be careful with this fitting here. You can't run it up perpendicular with the body of the purge solenoid because the fitting's too fat at the top. Alright, you won't be able to tighten it up. So there's not much clearance there. Okay, so you want it off, so it's off far enough that you're going to be able to tighten that up when you're all said and done. Now I'm going to sit it in the car like that. Alright, so that means the line's going to run off towards the driver's side of the car. Okay, so there we go, we're ready to bolt that in now. Okay, so now it's time to fit our purge solenoid. Now we're going to fit it on this side of the solenoid, as I mentioned before. Now if you haven't got your bottle removed from the car, now would be a good time to do it. Now I've already pulled the bottle out of the car, but yeah, you don't want the bottle hooked up and cracked open, and you don't want to have nitrous here in the line because you don't want to end up with a face full of cold nitrous. It's no good for your eyes and no good for your skin. Alright, so we'll crack that off. Insert our purge solenoid. and then get our nitrous line and bring it up on the other side of that. Okay, I'll tighten them up in a sec. That gives us an idea of how it's going to sit. Okay, so there's our nitrous solenoid, there's our new purge solenoid in the line. So as you can see, the nitrous will come up through here and you'll be able to vent it via this solenoid, alright? And then there's our vent line, which will fit shortly. Okay, so they've given us about 1 metre of this hard plastic line. And there's our connection goes over there, or our connector. And then the ferrule goes over the line. And that's so it doesn't crimp the line when you tighten it all up. So the other side of the connector will go in there, it'll all slide down, and you make sure you hold that in tight and then tighten up the nut. Okay, so here we are at this end. So we slide the line down over this tube all the way to the bottom, let the ferrule slide down, and then loosely tighten up the nut. Now we'll make sure this line is seated properly before we tighten the nut, and then you just tighten the nut a little bit. You don't want to tighten it right up, otherwise you'll pinch the tube and you'll wreck it. Okay, that's almost done. Now that we've got our purge solenoid mounted up front, we've got to find somewhere to install our little button. And the perfect spot will be in here next to the nitrous arming switch on our little panel that we fashioned up when we installed the nitrous kit. Okay, so we have to drill a hole for the button to mount in there, and then we'll have to wire it up. Okay, so we've got to drill a hole for our switch. We're going to mount it in this switch panel next to our nitrous arming switch. Okay, so we've already drilled a pilot hole. We'll just have to finish it off with the right size drill. Oops. We didn't quite have the drill bit tightened up enough there, but got the job done. Alright, so now we've got our switch, or our button I should say, and our nut and washer to go behind it. So we'll grab the washer first, poke the button through the hole, washer on, and then the nut. Alright, so we'll tighten that up properly in a second, but generally that's what it's going to look like. Okay, so we've got our purge button all wired in now, and it's sitting in next to our nitrous activation switch. Okay, so if you remember the nitrous install video, we had the activation switch set up so it had to be turned on via the ignition key. Alright, so key's not on, the switch can't be armed. Alright, we'll turn the ignition on. You can hear the pump power up. Okay, and there's the nitrous activated. Now we've set up the purge button on the same system, so purge doesn't work unless the nitrous is on. Turn the nitrous on, you can hear it purging. Okay, turn it off, nothing. Alright, ready to go. Okay, so you can see our black nitrous purge line here. We've got it running up along the braided lines, and you can probably see we've got it set up at the back of our scoop here. Okay, so there's our nitrous purge system all sorted, and that should eliminate the problem we were having of the popping off the start line. Now we'll move on to eliminating those lazy shifts with our homemade shift kit, but you're going to have to watch the next video to see that. We'll see you then.